October 2nd, 1925. 4:47 in the afternoon. 200 men are working inside a tunnel beneath Church Hill, Virginia. Then a single brick falls from the ceiling. One brick, and every man in that tunnel knows it's already over. The Church Hill tunnel had been a death trap since the day it was built. Constructed in the early 1870s, engineers drove it straight through a hill made almost entirely of clay and mud, soft, unstable ground that geologists had explicitly warned them about. The company ignored every warning. The tunnel flooded, it buckled. Buildings above began to tilt and sink. Workers died in cave-ins so regularly that people in Richmond whispered the tunnel was cursed. Not metaphorically, but literally. Something inside that hill didn't want to be disturbed. By 1901, it was shut down. For over 20 years, it sat in darkness, sealed and forgotten. Then, in 1925, despite every engineer calling the plan reckless, the railroad approved a full restoration. Work began. The cave-ins started almost immediately. 12 workers died before October 2nd even arrived. That afternoon, locomotive 231 sat 160 yards inside the tunnel. Around it, 200 laborers worked in hot, thick darkness. Fireman Benjamin Mosby, 28 years old, working shirtless in the heat, heard the first brick fall and shouted to his engineer, "Watch out, Tom, she's a-comin' in." The ceiling came down in sections. Electrical cables snapped. Every light went black. 200 men scrambled through total darkness toward the exits as thousands of tons of earth collapsed behind them. Most made it out. Engineer Tom Mason did not. The collapse pinned him at the throttle. He was buried alive with the train, and at least 2 other workers whose bodies were never recovered. They are still down there, sealed inside that hill beneath Church Hill, Virginia. But that's not the part people remember. What people remember is what crawled out of the tunnel. In the chaos, as survivors staggered into the street, witnesses saw something emerge from the tunnel's mouth that stopped them cold. A figure, tall, moving fast, skin hanging from its body in strips, its face a ruin of blood and broken bone, its teeth jagged, fractured, jutting at wrong angles from its jaw. It looked less like a man than something that had once been a man. It didn't call for help. It ran, straight through the crowd, past the rescue workers, and several men gave chase. They followed it 2 miles through Richmond, then watched it disappear into Hollywood Cemetery, sliding into a hillside mausoleum carved with a single name: W. W. Poole. Hollywood Cemetery is not a place you forget. 130 acres of ancient stone, Civil War monuments, and 2 presidential graves. And somewhere on that hillside, built in Egyptian style, unlike every tomb around it, sits the mausoleum of W. W. Poole. The date carved in stone reads 1913. Poole didn't die until 1922. No one has ever fully explained the discrepancy. And unlike every neighboring monument, the tomb bears no birth year, no death year. Only the name, only the date. Some say that's because you can't put a death year on something that hasn't died. The rational explanation has always been Benjamin Mosby. When the boiler ruptured, a wall of superheated steam hit him directly, scalding his skin so severely it peeled from his body, shattering his teeth on impact. He crawled out of the wreckage, made it far enough to tell someone to call his wife, then collapsed. He died hours later at Grace Hospital. He was buried in Hollywood Cemetery, the same cemetery where witnesses saw the creature disappear. So here is what we're left with. A man so destroyed by a steam explosion that witnesses couldn't recognize him as human. A 2-mile chase through Richmond. A creature that vanished into a tomb belonging to a man whose mausoleum bears no death year, and a door with a lock on the inside. The Churchill Tunnel has never been reopened. The locomotive is still down there. So are the bodies. And if you go to Hollywood Cemetery and find that mausoleum on the hill, the one that looks nothing like the tombs around it, you'll notice the door doesn't have a lock on the outside. It has one on the inside. The Richmond Vampire has never been seen again, but the tomb is still there.